Hey everyone, Tom Miller here, Leaders Building Leaders, with another chapter from What Great Principals Do Differently. And we're talking about chapter 15, Understanding High Achievers. Whitaker talks about some really interesting stories here from his career in regards to superintendents, coming in and principals being very, very excited about them, coming through and giving them feedback, right? Because they're a mentor of theirs, right? Or they're a higher level, and they want to know that the school looks great in their eyes. And then what do they find? Is that the superintendent finds one or two little things that really deflates the high level leader. And I can think about this when I was a principal. I know that I definitely, not on purpose, right? I didn't try to diminish on purpose, but I certainly diminished the efforts of some of my higher level teachers just based upon pulling one or two minor thoughts, right? It might have been, class time starting on time, or just kind of maybe a way they had their arrangement, or something that was off by a couple of minutes, maybe their pace. And in my mind, it was just pointing out a few ways to get better. But in the higher level teacher's mind, it was completely deflating to them. And it makes me think of when I was a principal. This is an interesting story. There were two sets of teachers, basically, as what I heard as I left the school. There were the Tomcats, right? These were the people hired by Tom, by me. And there were the boxers. And the boxers were the people that were inherited, the staff that was inherited. They were called the boxers because at any moment they could be asked to pack their things in a box, which isn't true, but anyway, let's just keep using that story. So there's the Tomcats and the boxers. And I feel as though at times when I had to create rules or wrote memos or kind of like put something out there in terms of collaboration in the direction we were trying to go, it decreased the autonomy of the Tomcats, right? Because the whole purpose was to get the boxers moving in the right direction. Now, the unintended consequences was plenty. One is because I didn't realize that sometimes it diminished the autonomy of my higher level teachers, right? And the people who I wrote the rule for didn't listen anyway because they didn't follow me and I didn't have any influence on them and I wasn't able to change them because I had no idea, honestly, how to lead at that time. So I'm going to take a colleague of mine, Joan Roman, recently said, and I love this, she said, Tom, everybody likes to vomit, right? They feel better after they vomit, but nobody likes being vomited on. So take that as when you're giving feedback, be sure you're not vomiting on somebody, right? Minor things are exactly that. They're minor. And make sure that you're certainly using a 4-to-1 positive to area of growth ratio. And that's something that it was the expectation of our teachers to do that for students. It also became the expectation of me as a leader to make sure that I was giving them a 4-to-1 ratio. Another great point here that Whitaker talks about in this chapter is about how your high achievers will always be the first ones to typically volunteer. And what happens is they end up getting burned out, right? Because they have so many things on their plate, and you almost feel like their energy is just, they're like the Energizer Bunny. It never ends, it never ends. And it is the principal's job that you have to delegate or empower responsibility because honestly, you can't do it all, but you have to be careful in terms of how much certain people are taking on. So I love how Whitaker says, hey, I'm going to bring up something at a staff meeting today, or I'm going to put something in a memo that we're looking for people to lead certain aspects of the school. I think you talk about the social committee, or maybe it's a prom committee, whatever it might be. But he specifically tells his high flyers, I don't want you volunteering for it. But he's quick to say, before you deflate them, because they want to be part of everything, make sure you tell them why. And that's because you have a higher level project that you want them to spend more time on, like being the curriculum coordinator or part of the curriculum team. So I really love this reminder here that he tells us that high achievers will be the first to leave an organization if they don't feel appreciated. And if you spend too much time focusing on your low-level achievers, right? And if you're constantly, your professional development, everything is streamlined to bring up the bottom-level people, the first ones you are going to lose are your high-level teachers. And what you're going to be left with are the people that aren't trained very well. So remember that. How are you treating your high-level teachers? Are you making decisions based upon your best teachers or your worst teachers? Right? I was definitely making decisions based upon, I won't say my worst, but my least effective, right? My most disengaging in terms of the collaborative culture that I was trying to create. So I was putting in rules that forced a collaboration, right? It made it balkanized. It was right. It was not purposeful. It was not bountiful. It was not rewarding to the teachers because it seemed like a task, right? So be very, very careful as you make decisions. So remember this. Just love it, what Todd says. Your higher level teachers will be the first ones to leave you when they don't feel appreciated and they don't feel like they're in an organization where they can grow and they can be successful. No matter how much they follow you, they will leave. They will leave you. Right? So you have to think about that every day. Remember, your job is to build an organization that doesn't advance you, but it advances your people and gives them opportunity, and you grow the capacity. You can't do that if you have a flat line, bottom line leadership level. All right? Hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed Chapter 14. Make sure you get your study guide questions done. Talk to you soon.